selectable class just yet, but I have started working on the summoner abilities. So we're going to hop in here on a wizard. And just start kind of going through some of these. Nerf monks, they're getting a little too big for their britches. Nice. Okay, so let's find our 3 starting abilities so far. So we've got Rock Pelt. Okay, I need to fix that. Caster level too low. One sec. There we go. This will still look grayed out on the bar, but it'll be usable. Lethal says, Joppa Monk is still the lowest DPS of the 3 DPS classes. Please reconsider any thoughts of nerfing them. I hear you. Chris Frozen says, is there a reason thought process as to why Backstab is strength-based bonus over dex? Curious what your thoughts on how the stab bonuses for abilities are put in. Yeah, so in some cases like this, it's really easy to lean way too far into a single stat. So dexterity already is a very stacked stat. It's got, it's improving your chance to hit, it's improving your critical hit chance, and those 2 things alone make it a very powerful stat. Strength affects your attack power, but it affects rogues' attack power differently than, like, say, the monk or the warrior or etc. And so rogues are already getting a lot of benefit from dex innately because dex is contributing to somewhat to a rogue attack power. So it's important for us to like offset the need to lean into other stats other than just single stats like that. So that's one of the main reasons why we've taken the strength route for Backstab in particular. Just to try and keep as many different stats being attractive to classes as possible. The Arcanery faction. All right, so Rock Pelt. Out of range? Okay. Right, I didn't see the projectile there. That's not cool. Let's see if we can just give it a temporary one for now. Not a big deal. It'd just be nice to see it. It's still doing what it's supposed to do. Chris Frozen says, thanks, Joppa. I do find myself chaining Shiv a little more, particularly with the cooldown. Yeah. Nice. I've missed some follows here, so let's see. Simper is here, Canoodle, and Essential34. Thank you so much for the follows. And Tabitha with the sub, the 1-month sub. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sorry I missed that. Well, it gives us a little visual at least for now, which is fine. Why didn't you aggro me though? Visual, not the ability data. That'll do it. Rock Pelt giving me halfling vibes. Yeah. Relic, thanks for the follow. Thanks for being here. That's a good one right there. This might just be like a visual thing. Yeah, it does. It will have some rock color to it. This is just purely like a temp thing, just to look at some of this stuff. Yeah, so why, like... We don't even have it, like, landing on the target right now. Well, let's do this before I dig into this more. Because I think this is the kind of stuff that most people are excited to see. Now, I want to make a disclaimer here. This is a temporary model. So, don't get like super attached to this thing, even though it's kind of cool. And I think it would work just fine for however long we wanted to use it. But it is temporary. This is an asset that you can get on the Unity store. This is not anything we've made in-house, but it works pretty well. So, I'm pretty pleased with it as a temporary thing. And probably some cues we can, take from it once we get to modeling our own. But yeah. It's getting it done. Tanking for me already, the Titan pet. Good job, Veritan. Obviously doesn't have any audio yet. And a lot of the actual summoner-specific pet mechanics are what we're going to be working on, up and leading up to next season. Things like the pet UI, pet equipment, being able, how the naming and all that kind of stuff works, and so on. But we're there. We've arrived. And if I could just get my rock pelt working. You can have two of these eventually, that's right. Well, to be precise, you can have the Undine pet, the water Archimendal, and an additional Archimendal eventually, once you grow into that, yeah. Starting off, you'll choose one and kind of have one with you for that purpose. Just let me play. No, the second pet is not temporary. Not at this stage. That's not the plan. The plan is that summoners can actually have two of them out at once. Yeah. The idea with the Undine, though, as the water pet, is that it can, it's going to be able to kind of take on a look that is less, as far as just like screen noise and screen clutter, that won't be like as clearly visible. So if you've got an army of summoners, you're not going to have two completely opaque pets out at the same time. You're actually taking some damage from the beetle there. I wonder if we could take on a level 2 without a nuke once Veriton is fully healed up. Let's see. Actually, let's see if he'll pull it off me. Okay, take it back now. Pull it off me, please. You need your taunt. Oh! 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 He still killed it after I was dead and I still got experience. Okay. You're supposed to go away once I die. You didn't do that. Okay. Have it. Yeah, I should have tested that if he could keep attacking other mobs while I was down. I'll test that here in a sec. I really want to get this nuke working. This is bugging me. The whole party dies and the pet wins the fight. Would you be able to talk, Chris Frozen says, would you be able to talk about how you see this awesome class playstyle is going to be? Any unique ideas, etc., that you have for them without spoiling too much, of course? Well, I mean, first of all, the primary role for the class is DPS, so the goal behind their design and pretty much everything they can do is designed around dealing damage. The summoner is going to have lots of unique utility through their kind of their summoning theme, though, their conjuration theme. So whether that's being able to summon other players short distances, creating like portals that players can step through, you know, to move certain distances, creating shields, you know, for a period of time, being able to summon ladders, summon walls, you know, things that are, you know, designed to kind of cause some disruption in the play space towards like what NPCs are trying to do and create barriers. And they're going to be a pretty interesting class in terms of like the utility they bring outside of their DPS because of just leaning into that conjuration side of things. Being able to hide like another player in a dimensional pocket, you know, for a few seconds to protect them from damage, and maybe some cool little moments like that. Too Tired says, will players be able to give summon pets weapons? Yes. Not indiscriminately. You're not going to be able to put like a couple of Aganoct things on your level 1 pet, but summoners will have and will grow into more itemization that they can summon for and give to their pets that will, you know, both look cool and also be kind of a point of progression for summoners as they level up themselves. Yeah, that kind of like some disruptive crowd control, some, you know, interesting kind of, oh yeah, I forgot, some interesting kind of like utility and things like that. Yeah. I wouldn't call it a full copy from the mage in EQ, actually. I think definitely taking some strong notes from the mage in EQ, but the mage in EQ kind of always sat this, I don't want to call it like a second-class citizen, but in terms of like just damage output and kind of the liability that pets were, the goal for this summoner in Pantheon is actually for a lot more of the power of the summoner to be in the pet, as opposed to the pet being kind of a complement to the summoner and the summoner having all of their own like kind of crazy nukes and stuff. The summoner power is going to be more in the pet itself and what the summoner can do to strengthen their pets, to use their pets reactively as almost like an extension of themselves, as opposed to this thing that's just there and you don't ever pull it out at raids because, you know, like that kind of thing. So that's one of the main differences between, I would say, like the EQ mage, magician, and the Pantheon summoner. Plus there being a lot of other like utility that the summoner is going to have outside of just damage dealing. Olsen 105 says, I've waited for this day for so long. Well, it's here. The day has arrived. Level 2. Just Let Me Play says, will the summoner pets have different effects based on which pets are up? Fire and water giving steam buff, and water and earth giving mud buff, or whatever. Yes, there is different interplays that the pets will have, for sure. Yeah. We'll go into more of that somewhat soon as we kind of walk through setting these classes up more in a more advanced way than we have right now. But yeah, there's designed to be interplay between, specifically between the water pet and the other three. Yeah, the pet didn't level. Pets are supposed to level up with the summoner, so I need to connect with Steve on that and just verify that that isn't how it's currently set up. I did die, so part of me is wanting to see, like, let's just do it like this. I don't think the pets are set up to level, like, organically, but I kind of want to test that now. They're not meant to level organically. They're meant to just match your level as you level up. We were originally going to do something more EQ-esque where, like, each time you, like, whatever level it is that you get, like, you would get, like, an upgrade to the pet, and then yeah, it's not leveling organically. So it's either right now that you would need to, like, dismiss and resummon, which we can try that. Yeah, I see. Just staying at level 1, which it's not supposed to do. So that's something we need to fix. Let's see. But yeah, what I was saying is originally we were going to be doing something more similar to EQ, where you would have levels where you would get an upgraded pet, and then that pet would have its own kind of level range they could spawn at. But we opted for it to just essentially level up with the caster, and always be the caster's level. Because I mean, the reality is, at the end of the day, what that led to was literally just sitting there and burning through regents to summon a pet until you got pet the level that you wanted. And I don't know. Those little decision points, those little inflection points, we just make decisions along the way to say, yes, that's that true classic kind of feeling. That's that true classic kind of way that they did it. But was that really adding a whole lot? And at the end of the day, you know, you are going to have to use regents to summon these, but you're not going to sit there and go through regents just trying to get one that is the level that you want it to be. So, El Proxley with a follow. Thank you so much. Samaron with the 1 month sub. Thank you so much. Many thanks, my friend. I appreciate that. And thanks for being here and thanks for the follow. Super cool. Not to mention having to do it every time you zoned. Yeah, I mean, these will zone with you, so you won't need to resummon them, you know, across even like hard zone lines into dungeons or whatnot. You won't have to resummon them. And the other thing to keep in mind too is like the way pet inventory will be set up is, even though I might have to resummon a pet because it dies or whatever, once the pet inventory is working, that pet inventory will persist regardless of like if it was the Titan. In other words, you're not going to put like all this gear on your Titan and then it dies and then you have to put a whole new round of gear on the new Titan that you summoned. The pet inventory should persist regardless of that. That's how we'll be looking to set it up. Mr. Cottleshire asks, apologies if this has already been answered, but will summoners be able to heal their pets? Yes. And how well will the tank pet be able to tank? The tank pet will be able to tank very well. Now it's not meant to take the place of like a group tank, but the tank pet will be viable like up to the level of off-tanking, let's say, as long as the summoner is focused on that activity. So in other words, the summoner is going to be a lot more engaged in what the pet is doing and having the pet do certain things. You'll see that as we get... So like right now, my Titan doesn't have any abilities, but as we start layering in abilities, the Titan's going to have a taunt, the Titan's going to have like an AE stomp type attack, it's going to have a root, it's going to have various other things. And then it's going to have a combination of like activated abilities and abilities that you can set to be automatic. In fact, you can set all of them to be automatic if you want, but that just means they'll be firing them maybe at inopportune times. So the idea is that the summoner focusing their Titan pet to tank would be able to tank effectively, especially if it has the appropriate gear and various things that it needs to be able to do that. So yeah, that's the idea, is that unlike in the EverQuest Magician, where you kind of like, you just stick the Earth Pet on something and it cycles through like, it's root proc and is just doing attacks, you actually have the ability to control when and what abilities your pets are using, and you can do that more and less effectively for the role you're trying to fill. But again, you can set it to be automatic. Like if you're not... So if you're there to DPS for, let's say, and you have the Fury out, the Fire Pet out, you can just set everything to be automatic and it'll just use it on cooldown.